based on the way the NFLPA has structured things and the disciplinary actions that could come, if it's for the full season, his contract will then toll another year. So everything moves up 1 year, if that makes sense. Back 1 year, yeah. So his contract's set to expire in 2026. It would now expire in 2027 if he doesn't reach an accrued season for 2022.
Which is 6 games, I think.
So, I mean, if he gets the full season or if it's suspended indefinitely, which is what many are anticipating coming down, then who knows what we're looking at from a monetary suspension. But it's not like he's not missing any of the money of the fully guaranteed contract. It's just pushed back a calendar year for when he will receive it.
But that pushes back his 2001 year contract to 2022 contract to 2023. So that $1 million base moves.
Right.
So how does the suspension money work? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's
suspend him
the
off
way
his base.
The way it has been reported,
and then it tolls.
The way it was reported whenever he had the fully guaranteed contract was, it was structured as though that first year base salary was awfully suspicious for what they thought he would be missing out on in year number 1. Although at the time, no one thought he was going to be suspended for a full season, which would then toll the contract forward a year instead of moving forward with just $1 million lost. I mean, if it continues to toll forward, he's never going to, I mean, unless it's a true voidable type suspension, which I don't know if that's been reported or if it's even coming close to being a voidable contract based on the fully guaranteed money that he signed up for and that the Browns gave him. I mean, I don't know if he'll ever miss out on much of the contract that's going to be paid.
Well, I think it just happens this way. He makes no money in 2022 outside of what he's pocketed as signing bonus.
Right.
And plus his contract gets pushed back. So the big base that's scheduled to come in 2023 doesn't come. So the low base year gets pushed back. Everything gets pushed back. So he makes no money because he's suspended for the entire year, if he is, hypothetically. Makes no money in the first year because of the suspension. And then he only makes that low base that was scheduled for the first year in the actual first year when he's playing.
Yeah, but it's not, I want to stress this, it's not really hurting him in the bank.
Well, he's got the
He
would
have not played over the last 2 years, hypothetically now, and he would have made $54 million over those 2 seasons of not playing.
$10 million from last year, and he got 47.
He had $44 million in a signing bonus from the Browns.
So
it's I don't know what you guys make about the reporting on all this and how everything is going down, but to me, it's just further evidence that none of this is necessarily about what's right or just. I'm talking about what the Browns have done in this guaranteed contract. I'm talking about what has happened to the Texans and what could continue to happen to the Texans. I'm not talking about the victims' rights or any of that. This is all now coming down to the report out over the weekend. The NFL is going to push for at least a year suspension, at least a 1-season suspension. To me, it's just what's going to save the most face for the league. What can we do to not look light on this sort of stuff?
It's kind of funny also. The NFL is
isn't the reporting weird? Like the NFL is going to push for at least a season. And I'm thinking, okay, it's the NFL's decision. What do you mean push?
Right. The NFL is going to push her
then just do it
for a year because it wants her to do most of the damage when Roger Goodell ultimately can adjust it to whatever it wants. So if she comes back with 14 games, he can add 3. They can get the year that they want.
Right.
But they'd rather he only add 3 games than she come back with 12 and he have to add 5, or she come back with 10 and he have to add 7.
Right.
They want her to take the brunt of it instead of him taking the brunt.
They want the independent disciplinary person, whoever's in that role,
to take the hit.
To recommend the suspension that the NFL wants, so it can just point to, well, we appointed this, but the NFLPA agreed to appoint Sue Robinson to this position. It's jointly agreed on, and this is her call based on the investigation that she had and based on the independent investigation that was handed to her.